And craziness. All right, there we go. All right, so I told you guys it's been a hell of a morning, man. Welcome to All Pucked Up. That's the first and foremost thing. We're back again. Having some technical issues. I am this morning. Maybe not so much the station. This guy having the technical issues. So if you see anything wrong, please send me a message and let me know immediately. Say I don't have sound, I don't have video, I don't know what you're doing. Send me something, and we'll go from there. I'm Rich Masucci, of course, in the flesh here, live, ready to come to you. And who do we got with us today? We got all the boys. Let's see, Mr. Scott Kimball, you're there, right?
I'm here.
Yeah, there you go, man.
How we doing?
I think we're good. I think we're good, man. Oh, God. There it is.
All right.
Oh, this world. What you been up to, my friend?
Well, I got to say, I expected a much more bitter room this morning.
Listen.
I really did, between the Penguins and what happened with the Rangers. But everybody's in pretty good spirits.
Yeah.
And I got some bad news for you.
What's that?
I'm not going to be here next week.
You're not?
I'm on duty.
Oh, boy. Listen, the way things are going, I might not be here next week. But that's okay, because I think we do have a special guest, and that is going to be Jamie Ostenat, I think, is coming in.
Yeah, there you go.
And doing his thing here.
All
and
right.
If the Capitals are still around, which I fully expect them to be, then it'll work out great, because Jamie is he's kind of the only Capitals fan I know. So we'll talk about that. Yosh, what's going on?
It was a long weekend. Without going into too much detail, it was a very long weekend.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, well. Yeah. So was it one of these? You don't even drink.
I don't drink
what
anymore.
Am I talking about?
Yeah.
So what was long? Just work?
No, I only work 3 days a week. I mean.
Oh, well. Just one of those things.
We had a garage sale this weekend, and it was just craziness.
And Mazzotti messaging him during the games.
Yeah.
What you been up to, man?
I've been watching hockey. That's all I've been doing. I actually feel like a little happy that there's no games on today.
Yeah.
Because I have been up till 1:32 in the morning watching hockey. I'm sure my wife is tired of it.
It feels like a full-time job.
I bought the NHL TV for 5 beans, and of course there's still national blackouts.
Yeah.
My phone might have been watching the games from Iceland, so there were no blackouts. So I watched every game, every broadcast that I could. I might have not watched much of the Penguins. They were just dumpster fire.
I can see already, man. It's gonna be one of those shows, and
and I'm also very pleased. I wasn't here last week. Sorry, I missed. I was not feeling well, but. Yosh last week was like, what do we know? I knew a lot, apparently, because a lot of my picks came true this time.
Yeah.
I said Montreal. I said Carolina.
Yeah, you did.
So, I mean,
well,
I even said Chicago could take Edmonton. So it's going to be fun.
What was astounding was just the complete lack of effort out of some of the teams in that opening play-in round. It was disgusting.
Go ahead and say it.
Well, it wasn't just the Penguins. I mean, the Oilers laid down.
Yeah.
Laid right down.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I hate to say it, and I hate to pick on you guys, but the Rangers, other than Zibanejad, who else showed up? Were they reminded that they had to play? Or
first half of Game 3 was the best they looked the entire series. And I can't even the first half of that game.
Yeah.
I'll tell you how dead on my prediction for the Rangers was. Scott said they were deep at wing. You're absolutely wrong, because they lost Jesper Fast on the very first shift
of the very first game.
Very first shift of the very first game. They had nobody to replace him.
If who they have actually showed up, they would have been deep.
I said if they were going to win, guys like Greg McKegg and Brett Howden were going to have to score. Both those guys had prime opportunities.
Yep.
And Mrazek came up big.
Howden.
On McKegg. McKegg had a really good shot from in tight. Mrazek got it. Howden had a lot of good chances. Can't hit an open net. So it's like those guys, I was right. Those guys would have had to.
Where'd Buchnevich go?
Where was he all year? I don't like Buchnevich. I thought they should have traded him already. So
how'd you guys feel about Reimer starting Game 3?
I knew we were done when he started.
Yeah.
The Rangers never beat Reimer. The Rangers have a great history of making backup goalies look awesome.
Yep.
So
I mean, it wasn't really surprising. It wasn't really surprising coming on a back-to-back either. I mean,
yeah, true.
Carolina was great. And they're gonna give Boston.
Oh, they're gonna go
fits.
deep.
Yeah.
I got them beating Boston.
Yeah.
So do I.
Same.
My bracket.
Well, there you go.
The show kind of went off the rails already.
I was actually going to ask you guys. Let's break down that series between Boston and Carolina, but we're already kind of balls deep into it, so we might as well just keep going. I mean, that first line for Carolina was pretty dominant that last series.
Oh,
you know,
God.
it's that forecheck.
Their fourth line is ridiculous.
They're all over the place.
Yeah.
And you know what? Watching those round robin games, and I still think those round robin games were kind of more like an exhibition game than anything else.
Yeah.
Boston,
Except to the Flyers.
Boy, you ain't kidding.
Except to the Flyers.
Wow.
The Flyers were the only ones playing those games.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they were.
absolutely.
Yeah, they were.
Well, that's
But you know what? Boston is a team that looks gassed already.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you got to remember, we've talked about this before.
Age.
They have played a ton of hockey over the past 5 years.
Yeah.
And they're not getting any younger.
Nope.
Did you hear what Rask said?
No.
Rask was like, well, now that we're done with this round robin or prequel, whatever that kid was, now we could get to the real hockey.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, okay, Rask.
okay.
Yeah. Like
Okay,
you were
Tuca.
trying. All right.
Yeah.
Well, but listen, man. I mean, if you ever had any type of an opportunity to kind of coast in a little bit, the round robin was absolutely.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. Absolutely.
I mean, it was tailor-made for that.
And I
Oh,
think
yeah.
Boston's
But that-
better than what they showed, but
They
But you know
they
what?
better be.
That's a bad thing if you're coasting into a playoff. I mean, look how many upsets that have happened in the past because teams that were high-rated, high-seeded said, we got that. We'll just take it off. Take the last few weeks off. Let's rest up. Let's get our injuries taken care of. And then all of a sudden, they're playing a team that's been fighting for their playoff lives for a month.
Yeah.
They're already in desperation mode. They come out, they punch this higher-seeded team in the face, and that higher-seeded team doesn't get off the mat.
That's kind of why I think Carolina against
Me too.
Boston. That's trouble in the making for
Yeah,
it
Boston.
is.
Absolutely is.
Being
And I
Boston, I wouldn't want to play Carolina.
No.
I
Not
don't
with the
think
way
anybody
they
wants to
came
play
through that
Carolina.
first series. No way.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, if they keep that forecheck going, that is going to give Boston fits.
And I don't think Dougie Hamilton played that entire series.
No,
they're talking-
no, he's talking. He should be
He should
back.
for the-
Yeah.
So
So
it's just going to get harder for anybody
yeah,
playing
absolutely.
Carolina.
Absolutely.
They might get Pesci back too eventually.
Yeah.
So their defense is only going to get better.
Yeah.
You know, I was right too about Brady Shea.
Yeah.
I said he was going to put the
I was thinking
dagger.
about that.
He put the daggers in the beginning when he took out Jesper Fast on the very first hit of the series, and he got basically the last goal. It was a tip, but it was all Brady Shea pinching at the line, and I was like, there it goes, there it is, Brady Shea. Called it.
So I don't want to get too much into this because obviously we're going to have a little talk at the end of the show about the potential number one draft pick here.
What time is that getting announced today?
6 o'clock.
6.
Yeah.
All right.
But
I'm sure it won't be till 7.
Yeah,
No.
no,
Oh
right?
yeah. Well, Batman's got to talk.
he's got to chirp.
They're going to have to hype up everybody's
they're gonna give us,
12.2 or 12.5% chance.
Yeah.
Odds like it's 12.5, and this team is 12, and this team is 12. He's going to go each of them individually, stretched out for an hour.
Yeah, instead of just saying like every team,
Yeah.
got to go down the list. So where do the Rangers go from here?
The Rangers are fine.
Yeah,
I think the Rangers are fine. The only question in going forward with the Rangers is what to do with Henrik Lundqvist.
yes.
Yep.
We can't waive him. We can't trade him without his approval. He's got 1 year left. We buy him out. It's $17 million we'll have for the extra cap room.
No, not 17 million.
If we buy him,
no, he's got $8.5 million left. How do you have 17 million cap space? What it's going to do? They're going to have to. They're going to get hit with
we
a
have
$4.5
cap space now.
Right, but you're going to have a $4.5 million dollar this year cap hit, and then it'll be another $5 million after that for 1 year. It's going to be a 2-year cap hit. That's how it works.
If he retires, we get an extra $3 million. Basically, is what it's going to boil down to. If we have to buy him out, we lose half of that or something. I read an article about it. It said apparently Scott's got different figures, but it said 14 if nothing. If he stays there, we only got 14 to play with next year. If we buy him out, we'll have 17, and if he retires, we'll have 20.
Do you think he's ready to retire?
He looked it at the end of that game.
I mean, everybody at the end of the season always
He
walks
didn't-
out
Yeah.
like I'm
Listen,
done, and
they-
then
they-
He did not play bad.
yeah,
He did not play bad. However, he did let in a couple of ones that normally he does not let in.
yeah.
Would he be a great backup for some other team? Absolutely. But his time in New York is pretty much up. I don't think he wants to play anywhere else, except maybe if he went back and played another season for Frölunda in Sweden or something like that. But
the only trouble with trading him too is he's got an $8.5 million cap hit, so the Rangers are going to have to eat half of that.
Yeah,
they're going to have to. There's nobody else that needs a goalie can eat that. Nobody.
What were you saying the other day that the Rangers should have instead of playing Lundqvist? You didn't think that was the right way to go with it.
I thought if Lundqvist or if Shesterkin couldn't go, Georgiev was the way to go.
Yeah, Georgiev.
And here's why. So you're talking about trading a guy, right? Even though he's an RFA, you're going to maybe get him to sign a bridge deal. If Georgiev plays lights out and steals one of those games, guess what happened to his trade value? It goes up. Lundqvist, you're stuck with him. I get it. He's an icon in New York. He's the hero of everybody that's a Ranger fan. But guess what? This is the playoffs.
Yeah.
And guess what? Henrik, take a seat on the bench. Because if you got a guy coming in that can do the job, like Georgiev has done in flashes, if you can jack his trade value up, even if it's one round further, say if you're going to get a third-round pick for him, plays great, okay, we'll give you a second-round pick. What the heck?
Yeah.
Right?
Or even package him with Carolina's pick.
Exactly.
And move up in the first round.
There you go. You just the Rangers, I'm sorry, screwed up with Georgiev. They completely wasted him. Completely. They didn't trade him at the trade deadline. They could have got something for him there. You know, I'm sorry, but Lundqvist is basically like an anchor on that team, and not in a good way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not in a good way. Until they can get rid of him. I mean, it's
one more year. It's literally one more year, so they'll figure it out. I'm not worried about it. I have full confidence in John Davidson moving forward. You know, that's really what's been the Rangers' problem all these years is their management.
Yeah.
And I feel now that we have gotten rid of Glenn Sather, and it's President JD. JD is going to do the best for the Rangers. I have full confidence in him. Look what he's done. Columbus and St. Louis, you know, I'm fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yosh, I just want to hear you say Georgiev.
Georgiev. That's actually how you pronounce his name.
I was watching it the whole time. I'm thinking he wants to say Georgiev.
I did say it. I did.
Going into this next season, the Rangers cap hit is $68 million. It's a flat cap, so we're at 81.5. Mm-hmm. Now, for their free agents of their own that they've got to resign, they got to resign Jesper Fast.
They're not resigning him.
Well, you got Ryan Strome, who's making $3.1 million now. He's going to want to raise, seeing as their second-line center. You're probably looking at $5 million for him.
I don't think we should re-sign him.
Well,
not at that amount.
Okay, so you're going to bring him to center the second line. You think Philip Cheadle's the second-line center? He's barely a third-line center. All right, so you got Brendan Lemieux you got to re-sign. That guy's a grit guy. You want to keep him around.
Yeah, and he's not going to take another 1 year, $1 million deal.
Exactly. He's going to want to get paid. Tony DeAngelo, he's up. He's not going to settle for $925,000 a year this time. Not after the year he had. No way.
Really? They might want to play that last goal for him before he wants to ask for more money.
Have that on cue when he walks.
Svechnikov, just go right past him. And,
but you know what? So did the rest of the team.
It was the D'Angelo one looks real bad.
And now you still got to sign Georgiev if you're going to trade him. Oh. So all of a sudden, that cap space you had got ate up. You figure you're going to have about $2 million to play with. That's with Lundqvist on the team.
Yeah,
Lundqvist is the key.
We're going to be talking a little bit more about that cap in just a little bit.
Yeah, so I didn't want to give it all away.
Yeah. We got to hide that behind the curtain again. We can't talk about that.
You're giving away the surprise.
Our show. I guess we might as well talk about this this travesty here. Did you ever see that movie Cabin Fever? You guys must have seen it. It's like a little buddy.
Yeah.
Remember that cop in there that keeps going like, dude, you ruined the party, man. literally, I was watching that Canadians Penguins series, and like at the end of it, that's all I could think was like, dude, you're ruining the freaking party, man. I don't even know where I go with this, man.
What is this? The third year in a row they've been knocked out in the first round and just look terrible doing it.
I don't understand this team. You said it best. You sent me that message right after they got done playing, and you said something like they need to go to the hospital and they need a transplant. Yeah, and I was like, oh my god, couldn't be like more on point. Let me just say before we get into it, I never want to see the names Justin Schultz and Jack Johnson as the same defensive pairing ever again.
Well, guess what? You're stuck with Jack Johnson for another 3 seasons, so.
I don't know why. Looking back, I remember I'm like, all right, man. He's had some good years playing. Everybody back then was kind of saying like he's kind of winding down quick, but maybe we could get something out of him. We took him on. We gave him that enormous contract.
With Justin Schultz?
No.
Jack Johnson. He was awesome when he was 11.
Yeah, we need the DeLorean to go back and get him. Unbelievable. But that was just that was definitely a case of a team showing up with no heart, no desire. I'm convinced that they went out. They made such a big deal about this is Sidney Crosby's 33rd birthday today. I'm convinced they went out the night before and just
broke the bubble.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Maybe that's it. Maybe they were all playing with COVID. But at any rate, I know the other thing we were talking about that Carey Price. What a great job! What a great job! Was it a great job?
I think he did great. I mean, I don't think he was tested.
Yeah, he wasn't really tested.
Immensely, but when he was tested, he performed. Do not get me wrong.
No.
He looked very good. He was fouling the puck well. I think this is what would happen to Pittsburgh. I think they constantly play to their competition. Mm-hmm. If they had played the Rangers, they would have swept the Rangers in 3. If they had played somebody they had grit for, if they had to play the Flyers for some reason or something like that, that series would have won 7. People would have been playing with broken fingers and everything. But when you get teams like Montreal playing Pittsburgh, that they don't really have a rivalry with, they only see them a few times a year. And now here's a big factor I thought that mattered that nobody's really talking about. Although I love watching the game with no fans, I think it looks better on TV. I like the camera angles we're getting more. I like everything about it, except the fact that if you're a team like Pittsburgh, you have nobody cheering for you.
Yeah.
And I've seen Pittsburgh put up a couple of stinkers on the road and then come home and look like a different team. And I think they were missing that in this situation.
Yeah. That
they couldn't play like that against Montreal, and then they couldn't get themselves up to play. And frankly, I didn't think Sullivan did a great job coaching the team.
I think, back in the days of Disco Dan, when he had when he was still coaching there, there's something about that team, and I think I mentioned it to you, Scott, that maybe it's just having such big name stars in there. It's very easy to lose that locker room. Very easy. And I almost wonder if that's what's happening.
I'm going to tell you something right now. Pittsburgh desperately needs to make a major shakeup. Mm-hmm. And remember when we told you about when Phil Kessel got traded? I told you Phil Kessel wasn't the problem.
Yeah.
It seems like Phil Kessel is like a problem magnet. Remember whenever team he's on, when things go wrong, well, it's Phil's fault.
Yeah, they throw him under the bus for
poor guy, right?
Too many hot dogs.
You know who I really, truly think needs to go off that team? And good luck doing it? Malkin.
Yep.
He's got that no move. He's got that ridiculous contract. You're going to have to throw a sweetener in to get rid of him. But I'm sorry. He's an attitude problem.
Yeah.
He's horrible as far as that goes.
When you said that he has that no move, I thought you meant how he plays on the ice.
Well, that too.
that first goal.
Well, I think, what was it, Game 3? I think a bird landed on his shoulder while he was out on the ice. Wasn't it?
I'm just telling you, for years, that's been his MO, man. I mean, it's like,
when he's on and he's motivated, he's lights out.
Yeah, absolutely. But when he's not into it, you need a forklift to move him.
Yeah. It's like, Gino, just stay in the hotel.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true. But going into this next series, I mean, obviously against the Flyers, I don't see.
No. You know what? Let me tell you something. Philly is playing out of their minds, motivated,
yes,
and crazy fast right now. And while it was admirable what Montreal did, and I bet you they even steal a couple games out of this series.
Really?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah.
I think so because Philadelphia is still very untested as far as like a real playoff battle. But there's just too much going right in Philly right now. Yes. They're firing on all cylinders, and it's going to be Philly in this. I say Philly in 6.
Yosh?
I got Philly on this one, too. Yeah. I don't think Montreal has it.
Yeah. Such a big deal was made out of
because Pittsburgh played down to Montreal, like you said, that grind game that Philadelphia is not going to let that happen.
The other thing is, too,
there's
that
no way.
Killed Pittsburgh, and I said this would happen, was Weber. Weber's out there half the game.
Yeah.
People forget that. Like, he's out there every other shift. The guy plays 29 minutes a game.
Yep. Incredible at his age.
He's
doing
great.
It.
Yeah.
And he's great. In fact, when I was watching him, I was going, I cannot believe, between watching Columbus play and watching Montreal play, I am like, I cannot believe that Nashville had Seth Jones, Weber, and Suter, and let all of them go.
Yep.
Like, what were they thinking? Because we're seeing
and what they got
in
back
playoffs.
for him is what they lost Suter to free agency.
They couldn't afford him, right?
They lost Suter to free agency.
Yeah.
But, they got Ryan Johansson back for Jones, who's been pretty much a flop since he's got to Nashville.
I know.
Yep.
Right? And for Weber, they got PK. Or, the other way around, right? PK went down there. And
PK's gone.
And PK just
now
did not
PK's in
live
Jersey.
Up. Yeah. So
Let's move on here. We should probably talk a little bit about that Isles Caps series coming up. Obviously, I don't think the Isles had too much of a problem with the Florida Panthers. Bobrovsky, man, I still didn't capture that magic.
He didn't even look good.
No.
he did in Game 4. With their backs against the wall, he looked really good in Game 4.
That was the one they won?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was the one they wanted to at least get it there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, or I'm sorry, Game 3. Game 3. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. He looked really good there, but man, that first goal he gave up in Game 4.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
floodgates are about to open. That is not good.
We said right at the beginning of this.
He just never looked comfortable all year in Florida, though.
Exactly. We said at the very beginning that this series would largely depend on him and if he could turn himself around for the playoffs.
Yeah.
Didn't really happen, and obviously we see the result. But my question is, there was some questions about the Caps as well. We said on the last show they kind of looked like they were sleepwalking a little bit, and even into the round robin, I didn't think they were.
No.
But I also suspect with them they were kind of phoning it in. Like we just said, some of these teams just played realizing that, hey, we're not getting eliminated here. There's not much to lose.
Right.
I didn't really think you saw.
Except for Philly.
Yeah. But I don't really
I thought
think.
Washington did a gradual increase.
Yeah.
Through the round robin.
Yeah.
I think they used it more like an exhibition.
Yep.
And they came out so. And I think when their last game the other day, they were playing pretty hard, except for OV. I think he was taking it easy.
Yeah.
But everyone else was playing, I think, up to par that last game.
Yeah,
But
they all kind of came
here's the thing, though. The Islanders are built for the playoffs. They're built for it. They got that 4-line, roll that 4-line, grind you down game. They will force you to make mistakes, and if you make a mistake, they're going to capitalize on it.
I think the Caps can grind them down too.
Yeah, but
It's
you know
gonna be
what?
a battle.
But
Yeah.
it is. It's going to be an good old fashioned slugfest. Is
Yeah.
what it's going
I
to
have
be.
it going 7.
Who you
I got the Islanders.
I have the Islanders in most brackets.
I have the Islanders.
Oh, we're all agreeing.
Wow.
Oh my God!
I got the Islanders too.
What's going on here?
Listen, I could never pick the Caps anyways. They're
Barry Trotz wants revenge for eliminating them too.
That's
he
the
wants
thing.
payback.
The storylines are great.
Yeah,
I know,
Yeah.
right?
For all these
Yeah,
series.
exactly.
Storylines are great. And I got to say, I love this tournament. I wish they would do this every year.
I'm telling you, at first I was like, oh, this is lame. But now that I've watched it a little
Yeah.
bit, you know what? I almost have to agree with that.
I like the playing
Yeah.
aspect. I like the top 4
Anything
people
can happen.
racing to the top. There's a reason to get to the top in
Yeah.
the regular season.
Yeah.
It gives more
But you
teams
can
a chance
still
to stay in it.
just miss and get in.
Right. It's
You know what I mean?
more of a
I
chance for an
like
upset.
that.
You know?
I know it's
But I think
it's
they got to
interesting,
change the
definitely.
draft so that if you're in that playing round, you don't get a shot at the number 1 pick. That
Right.
to me is a little ridiculous that both Pittsburgh and Edmonton.
I think it just worked out that way.
Well, yeah,
It
but I mean,
didn't-
still, look,
yeah. Well,
that's
Wait,
kind of ridiculous.
That's the end of the show. Hold on a minute.
yeah,
We
okay.
can't talk
I keep
about
giving
that.
it away.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I agree. They've been largely entertaining.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And the fact that you can watch all the games all day.
they're staggering.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah,
right?
man.
Oh, yeah.
I always kind of thought, like, when I first heard about this, I'm like, oh, man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to catch half these games. How am I going to do it?
That's the only problem because
I
when the
think
fans
to
are back,
work
you won't
it,
be able to do that.
to
Yeah.
work it, and once everyone's playing in their home arenas again, and to try to,
Oh, yeah.
there's no
Yeah.
way it'd work out unless they try to do
I
the
don't mind
play-in
this.
tournament at a
I
centralized
like the
location.
central
You know,
site thing. I think it's cool.
Yeah. Well,
I think they could do it in a giant stadium, put 2 rinks in it, and have games going simultaneously.
Big bubble. Yeah.
It's
I
a
mean,
big bubble.
The COVID shutdown's definitely helping a lot of people catch these games. But,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, but it's been wild. We really need to move on to let's go with the Blue Jackets and the Lightning. And man, obviously you guys all watched that game
Yeah.
last night. I was talking back and forth with Dave Bandage at the whole time, and man, first thing he says, it was like 2-0. He's like, keep it at 2-0. I don't want to see any more of these 3-0 late comebacks. So Yeah, that was pretty interesting. I'm waiting for him to come up with a new line. The leaves falling was a good one. Now he's got to come up with one for the Lightning. But
you don't think Torsten hammered it in their heads about not letting off the gas last night?
Did you see these press conferences?
Oh my God!
These press conferences are gold. They're TV gold, man.
I have nothing to say about that game.
Yeah. Toronto was great.
Great. We sucked.
We sucked.
Toronto was great. We sucked.
I like when he does that. I do, because it's just like, what do you want to hear from him? You know, like, And he's tired of doing it, and I get it. And I get I hate when reporters go well, Coach, do you think, they give you the words and they just want you to say it back to them?
I hate the manufactured answer.
Yeah,
you know?
It's so just go ahead and say what you want.
Yeah.
Here's one
but did you hear him last night?
Shit happens
after the game. Yeah, he did say that last night. But he was also like, I was actually happy with our performance in Game 4.
Yeah.
He goes, except for Glenn there, everything was good.
Yeah.
He's like, you got to give Toronto credit. They're still a good team, but they weren't yesterday. No. Because for all that money, they couldn't score one goal.
Did you see that
on their home ice?
Yeah, I know. That's got to feel kind of bad, man.
Yeah.
The Leafs are out, Edmonton's out. Ooh.
We're in it, and we're playing on our home rink that we're normally used to playing on, and we still couldn't win the series.
Used to the boards, used to everything.
Yeah.
Did you see that one stat they showed last night? The combined cap hit for Toronto's top line is more than all of the Columbus forwards.
Yep.
Oh.
How about Johnny T hitting a post on a wide open crease?
I know.
If you look at that replay, Korpisalo. Sorry, habit. He's not even in the blue paint.
No.
He's not even in the blue paint.
He had 85% of the net to shoot at.
And he hits the post.
Korpisalo's like a little dot down in the corner.
Have another $10 million, Johnny.
But we do have to say that he played a lights out series, man.
Korpisalo, yeah,
absolutely did. And
so did Merzlink. I mean, Merzlinkus played very well.
Yeah,
when he was in,
coming in cold too. That's the thing.
They won that game.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at Werenski had a good series. Foligno, certainly Dubois, Pierre-Luc Dubois. He had a great series. What was it, Game 3?
Hat trick.
Was it Game 3 he had the hat trick?
Yeah.
And that was they played lights out, man.
And overtime,
but it was after that one game, after Game 4, when Tortorella was all over him, I guess, in the locker room. I mean, on him.
Yeah.
And look how he responded. That's a leader right there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
And the funny part is everybody thought they were crazy taking him at number 3 in the 2016 draft. Remember that? That was the Austin Matthews draft.
Yep.
And Columbus was picking 3rd. Mm-hmm. And they're like, Pierre-Luc Dubois, I had him at 15. All the experts are like, guess what? Jarmo Kekalainen is actually quietly become one of the best GMs in this league. Hands down. Look what he did. You had all these guys jumping ship last year out of Columbus, right? It wasn't just Panarin. It wasn't just Bobrovsky. Don't forget, Duchesne left.
Yep.
They ended up giving up a ton to get.
Yeah.
But he left, and Columbus went with that it's us against the world attitude. Got the perfect coach for that, Tortorella, right?
I guess so.
So it all worked out, and the pieces that he brought in to help complement what Tortorella was trying to do, I'm telling you, this is going to be a good team for quite some time, just for that reason.
Let's talk about the series coming up, because obviously Tampa Bay is a little bit of a different animal.
And they're going to be looking for some payback.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great storyline in this one, too. So
rematch from last year.
Yeah. I mean, do you see it going down a little bit different this year?
I see it potentially going longer than it did last year. Last year, Columbus swept them.
Yep.
I still picked Columbus.
Ooh, all right. Okay.
And for the very reason that Hedman's done. Hedman looks done.
No, they said he might actually play after Game 1.
Really?
I read a report this morning,
I see the guy smash the shaft of his stick coming off the ice on an injury that obviously something happened to his ankle.
Yeah.
Because nobody touched him.
Right.
I have a hard time, even if he does come back, I have a hard time believing he's going to be the Victor Hedman we're used to
seeing. But you know what,
though?
This might actually work out for Tampa Bay this time. Because I got Tampa Bay winning in 7. All right? And as much as it pained me to do that, too, because I'd love to see Columbus, go as far as they can. But this is what Tampa Bay's problem has been the whole time. They've had Pittsburgh syndrome. Way too many superstars.
Yep.
Way too many mouths to feed, right? So if Hedman does miss some time, Stamkos is probably going to miss at least 2 games out of this series. This might actually pull them together a little bit as a team and say, okay, we can't be the flying circus show right now. We got to actually get together. We got to grind these games down. We got to win as a 4-line team. So, and don't forget, Tampa Bay brought in a little bit of grit in the offseason. They brought in Patrick Maroon, but they brought in Blake Coleman for situations like this. Because you can't be all flash and no bash, especially in the playoffs. Forget that, So, do you think maybe Andre Vasilevsky is going to have to be playing with a little bit of something to prove after getting embarrassed by Columbus last year?
Yeah.
So, this is going to be a tight series. It really is. And it pains me to say it. I think it's going to end up being Tampa Bay in 7, but they're going to be much better for the experience of having to play without Hedman, without Stamkos, to get the job done. Yeah.
Did you look at my bracket or something? Because I think so far you and I have the same thing.
Really?
Yeah, I have Tampa and I believe 7 also. So.
Yeah.
Yo,
Weird.
who do you got on this one?
It's a tough call. I don't think Columbus will sweep Tampa like last season.
Yeah, no.
I don't think it will, and I think it will go 7. But I'm gonna go with Columbus.
Okay, so 2-2, huh?
Only because it will with the injuries to Hedman and Stamkos, and it being questionable when they're gonna come back.
Yep.
That's 2 big pieces that team is missing. So.
We have to bring in Dave Bandich on this. I've been saying it for like 2 years now. We got to bring him in, but it's too fun talking with him at night, man. He's got a million. It's like talking with Don Rickles at night. It's great. He's over there getting mad. He's all kinds of craziness going on. I guess we can still talk a little bit. I'm looking at the time. We got a little bit more time. So the other big thing we should probably talk about is that meltdown, the Blackhawks and the Oilers, man. Just
is that even a meltdown, though? Don't you just expect Edmonton to
Yeah, really. Edmonton does what Edmonton does, and that's lose when it's the most important time not to lose.
Yeah, you know what? I actually almost feel sorry for Connor McDavid.
How can you not?
Granted, he's getting paid.
Man. Yeah.
He's getting paid, no doubt. But, he didn't ask to go to Edmonton. He got drafted by him, right?
Yeah.
But, you watch him out
sign
there.
That extension either.
You're right. That's true. That's very true.
How many goals did he have in the? I know he had a hat trick. He had
7. I think it was 7.
I was gonna say I thought he had 4, 5. I thought he had 5.
Was it?
I could be totally off.
It's very hard to keep count because they are hard to see.
Jeez, I know, right?
Yeah.
You blink and you miss it. You know?
Oh my God!
But yeah,
steps over the blue line. It's a goal.
It's a goal.
What happened?
but it's true.
He was just cutting to the middle. Where did the puck go? It's in the net. Are you sure? Like even the goal judge is like,
he sees Connor McDavid get the puck. He just puts the light on ahead of time.
Yeah.
I know it's going in, so
they need something on that team, man.
They need help everywhere.
Defense.
Yeah.
Defense especially.
Yeah.
They
need everything.
They need a starting goaltender.
That is really sad.
Mike Smith wasn't the answer. Shocking.
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, the trade carousel with Calgary didn't work out to Edmonton's advantage.
No way.
Really?
Really?
I wonder though, man. Now taking on your team, your favorite team, Golden Knights. Are you ready to say that they're
I'm pulling for the Hawks in this series.
Shocking. Another shocking news. The sun will rise tomorrow.
I think right. Yeah. I think the Knights will win it. Mm-hmm. You know what the best part about this, though? You know what the best part about this whole bubble thing? We don't have to see the show and have the game delayed by 20 minutes.
True.
Because of the on-ice antics or pregame antics, out in the ice.
Yeah.
This is not
they're not going to have it going on in Vegas and put it on the screens?
Good. Let them put it on the screens all they want. It's fine.
And we just want to bring this to you because we thought it was wicked relevant.
But at least it's not an 8 o'clock start turns into 8:35 because we got to have the castle built and everything else. So
they can't, and they're going to get in trouble if they're trying to chop Blackhawk in half.
Actually. True.
It's not going to go over well. I'm just guessing.
Not surprising that the Blackhawks beat Edmonton.
Yeah.
Vegas is a different animal.
Yeah.
Vegas has much more depth than Edmonton has.
Yeah.
And that's what was Edmonton's undoing. They have zero depth.
No, I think that Edmonton's got 2 lines. I said that
that's
all
almost
season.
like you step back, you let McDavid and Draisaitl do what they do, concentrate on the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
Hope for the best.
Wasn't the stat like it was crazy when we talked about them mid-season? Like when McDavid and Draisaitl played, they were winning all these games. When they weren't playing,
it was like 0.
It was like they were 5-30.
Yeah.
And also, Vegas is getting back Pacioretty.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's back.
So nothing really adding up here. Stacking. It's all stacking up against Chicago, and I don't even. Obviously, I know you're rooting for Chicago, but you're
which is hard for me because before Vegas came along, I couldn't stand Chicago.
How many games do you think for Vegas to win?
Oh, what I have at 6?
6.
Yeah, I had it 6.
I had 5.
I have 6 as well.
Really? Okay.
I think there's just way too much.
I haven't done my bracket yet.
Too much veteran right there to.
I've done like 5.
Let it go to 5.
I think, but
listen, I say that every time when I usually fill out these brackets. I'm like, these guys got some heart. But now I don't believe in heart.
If you go to NHL.com to fill out a bracket, notice that, of course, I started a league for us guys, but there's other leagues out there, and some of them have extra prizes if you do well. And so I signed up for a bunch of those. Like, I think
it's certainly not
isn't one of them $1 million?
Because,
the $1 million one's from the league, which you automatically get entered into.
Oh, all right.
But the Tampa Bay Lightning League, let's say, if you enter into that one, you can win a Nikita Kucherov jersey.
Oh, nice.
Stuff like that. So I signed up for a few of those things. And there's a Dallas one. And so when I signed up for like the Dallas one, the Vancouver one, I said, let's do a bracket of how Dallas or Vancouver could win the cup. So I had to base my path, like I had to keep going back and be like, nope, they're not going to be able to beat Colorado. I have to have Colorado lose to Arizona and move it around. So, but it's a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying the brackets.
Yeah. Let's talk about this series too. The Coyotes and Avalanche. I expect that one to be a good one.
I think it's going to be a quick one.
Really?
I agree.
Oh God,
I think so. And you want to know why? Because the one thing that's suspect on Colorado is their goaltending. Mm-hmm. The Coyotes pose absolutely no threat to that. I'm sorry. Even with Kessel, even with Taylor Hall, they are just a team that's got to win 2-1 or 3-2. They play great defense hockey. They really do.
Yeah.
But they're playing Colorado. And you know what? I just have a feeling that Colorado is going to make mincemeat out of them quick. Okay. I think this goes 5, to be honest with you.
5. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's all signs are pointing to this is not going to end well for Arizona. It just does.
Yosh?
I got Colorado. You can't not pick Colorado. They've got too much. Don't get me wrong. Arizona would make a great Cinderella story in all of this, but it's not happening.
Do I need to ask?
I like Arizona's defense. Mm-hmm. I do, but like Scott said, Colorado's got good defense too.
I know it.
And where you say their goaltending is suspect, I thought their goaltending in the round robin played excellent.
But that's round robin exhibition.
I get it, but I think the West played better in the round robin, minus Dallas, than the East did. But regardless, I have Colorado 5, I think. I think Arizona steals the game. I think another game is an overtime winner for McKinnon or something. It'll be tighter than 5 games. Yeah. But unfortunately, I don't see a way that Arizona comes out of this. Although watching Arizona games and watching Minnesota games, I want to become a GM of the NHL so bad, just so I could put Eriksson Ek, Ekman Larson, and Aaron Ekblad all on the team. Just to hear a commentator have to go and watch Eriksson Ek to Ekman Larson to Ekblad,
and then all of a sudden, just the commentator goes, "That's it."
Yeah.
He could just say, well, "You see what's going on."
Ek to Ek, Ek 1 to Ek 2 to
number
Ek
14
3,
to number 23 to number 5.
No, I'm going to tell you guys. I actually went the opposite way.
Boo!
I know why you did this.
Hey, man,
because you had Darcy Kemper in fantasy hockey.
I am a Darcy Kemper fan. Do I think it's going to really happen? Absolutely not. There's no way in hell it's going to happen. But yeah, you know what? This is going to be where I take the bracket. This is how it's going to happen. This is how it goes down. So keep dreaming. Right?
I did have to pick Arizona in that Dallas bracket that I told you about.
Let's see. Do we have time for one more? I think we could probably fit one in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I guess we can. What didn't we talk about today? We didn't talk about
Vancouver. We didn't talk about
Vancouver.
Yeah, I guess we can go ahead and do that. The Blues and the Canucks.
No,
and,
it's Dallas and Vancouver, isn't it? Or no, I'm sorry. I was thinking about brackets. Never mind.
Blues Canucks.
Yeah,
Blues
my bad.
Canucks.
My
Yeah.
bad.
So, Mazat, you were just talking about the Canucks. The path that they have to take is a long and very hard one.
And you know what? Regardless,
Yeah.
I have them beating the Blues.
Get the hell out of here. Are you serious?
I have them beating the Blues.
We're agreeing way too much here.
What? You too?
I just think, man, the Blues did not look good in the round robin. And although I'll say this, the guys on the Blues that are like the third line guys and stuff, those guys looked good. It was the guys at the top that looked like they were just doing laps.
Okay.
Binnington didn't even play that last game.
No. Jake Allen started that.
Jake Allen
He had a
looked
shutout
pretty
going into the
good.
third until
So, yeah,
the
I
wheels
can't
fell
say
off.
nothing on Jake Allen there, but I don't think Binnington's going to have the same magic as last year.
Yeah.
I think this team, as much as they got rested in this, break, they don't look like the same drive to me.
Yeah.
Unless
Yeah.
they get that, and I think, and here's the other thing, I think Travis Green and this team of Canucks are going to be ready. I think some of these guys were here for the Calder Cup run, and some of them, were there just after. And Travis Green, I don't think he's going to give up this opportunity easily. And I think he'll have him ready. Markstrom's been playing good.
Markstrom looks great.
I mean,
and you know what?
Quinn Hughes has been playing great.
Jeez, I know, right?
I'm like,
Vancouver-
that kid doesn't get the Calder. Like, come on, something's wrong here. He's got to have it.
You know what? Vancouver had the perfect opponent in that play-in round because Minnesota plays a similar style to St. Louis. So they've already got a little bit of, okay, this is what we're up against, right? And Mazzotti's right about St. Louis. Remember Rocky III when Clubber wanted to fight him the first time and Rock was all about it, and then Mickey kept going, no, you can't do it, Rock, you can't do it. He was like, oh, why not? You know what, Rock, the worst thing that happened to you, it happened to any fighter. You got civilized.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happened to St. Louis. It almost looks like they've lost that bite a little bit. I can't quite put my finger on it, but because Ryan O'Reilly's great, Braden Shen's great, Jaden Swartz great, all that. They even got Tarasenko back. But there's just something that's telling me that when they really need a goal, who's going to get it? Who's going to get it? The Blues play that great four-line game like we've always talked about having to be successful in the playoffs, but there's just something just not right.
It's another team, I think, that gets a lot of its energy from its fans, no fans. So you got to figure something out. And I don't think they have the person on the team that's going to pick that team up. I just don't. Whereas I think Vancouver's got that throughout the lineup. Like
Vancouver's got a lot of speed, too.
Yeah.
Vancouver's got a lot of speed. And if St. Louis doesn't get on them on that forecheck, they're going to be in a lot of trouble because you can't play catch-up. If this turns into a run-and-gun game, Vancouver's got it.
Vancouver power play's been looking good, too.
Yep.
Yosh.
And when you get a little aggressive with that forecheck, that's what you end up doing. You end up giving up a lot of power plays. Sorry.
I think this is another toss-up for me, but I'm going to say Vancouver probably in 7, though. I think it's going to be a long series. St. Louis has got enough to keep up the fight, but, I mean, unless they were out there just skating in circles that whole, round-robin tournament, I mean, Vancouver played. And teams that we've seen kind of take the lazy route here have failed, like the Rangers in 3 games.
Yeah.
I mean, so I think Vancouver.
Wow. I'm the oddball out again. I don't remember what I had him in, though. I think I had 6. I can't remember what my bracket looked like, but I think I have St. Louis in 6.
And we just got one more, right?
That's it.
Dallas, Calgary.
Oh, yeah, we didn't talk about that, did we? See? I should have written all this stuff down. Go ahead. Let's hear about it.
Well, Calgary did a pretty good job going through Winnipeg. which I said they would do.
Yeah.
I think Calgary's defense has gotten better. I think their offense is matured. Let's say that. I think Johnny Hockey looked really good. And Talbot was good when he had to be. And they didn't even have Riddick play, right?
He didn't play at all.
He didn't play at all. So,
which was quite surprising, actually.
Really, yeah. He was their number one most of the season.
This Dallas Calgary matchup is the toughest one for me to pick.
Yeah.
Actually, I have it going 7 games in multiple brackets. There isn't one bracket I didn't pick it to go 7 games.
Really?
Yeah, and I have most of the time I have Calgary winning it. In my real deal bracket, I have Calgary winning it. But I could very much see Dallas doing it. I could also see it ending fast because the one thing that didn't look great for me for Dallas in those round robin games was the goaltending.
Yeah.
They were kind of like, and I've seen them both be better.
Right.
So if they just pick it up, and I think they will versus Calgary. That's a good rivalry.
Both Bishop and Udobin greatly benefit from that defensive system they play too.
Yeah.
First time the Stars are playing the Flames in the playoffs since they were the Minnesota North Stars.
Wow.
Interesting.
1984.
Let me just ask you, how many brackets do you have?
5.
5 brackets, okay.
This is his March Madness
As of right now, 5.
When you said your real deal, I'm like,
He's right. I didn't have time
another
this
bracket.
morning.
There's always time for more brackets. He said my real deal bracket. I was like, damn, how many brackets this guy got going on here? Yoshi, you got in this one?
I'm gonna go with Calgary on this too. Dallas is a low scoring team. I mean, even through the round robin, they were averaging 2.5 goals a game. And they're low event. They're kind of a boring team to watch. In all honesty, I think Calgary's just got a little bit more heart, and I'm going to go with Calgary, probably in 5 or 6.
I disagree on the boring. I've been watching lots of Dallas games this year.
I just mean in the tournament going into this, they were very low event. But I think
absolutely. I don't think the round robin is.
It's not a good picture of what the team is going to be.
I don't think it's I think it's more. I think they're going to pick it up.
Yeah.
Scott, who do you do?
Well, I'm going to listen. Calgary got lucky in the first round. They got lucky. Scheifele and Laine out.
Yeah.
They didn't face full power Winnipeg. I mean, that was Winnipeg. They played desperate, no doubt. But being a Pacific Division fan, I can tell you that Calgary is the perennial underachiever. They always underachieve. Mm-hmm. So them beating Winnipeg did not impress me at all. Sorry. With that said, this series is probably going to be pretty boring. I don't think you're going to see a lot of scoring. You're going to see a lot of defense, grind it down and all that, which plays right into Dallas's hands, to be perfectly honest with you. I think their goaltending's better. I think you're right about that. Bishop, or you're not going to see Udobin unless Bishop gets hurt. But I think, offensively, they're pretty evenly matched. Mm-hmm. But on defense, Dallas has the advantage. They have Klingberg and Miro Heiskanen. Steven Johns is starting to play really well now that he's back. And just like Winnipeg, Dallas can bang. They're going to be able to grind them down. So
was really good for Dallas in that round robin was that Gurianov. Is that what his name is?
Gurianov.
I keep thinking they're saying Larionov.
Yeah, I know, right?
And I'm like, Larionov came out of retirement? Like, I got to watch the West more. Like, jeez.
But no, I think I just think Dallas has a little bit more firepower than you think. Mm-hmm. You said, I mean, Pavelski really hasn't been Pavelski this year. Who knows? Maybe
Sagan didn't even play.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. So I just, who was good for Calgary that I really noticed was Sean Monahan. Sean Monahan was good for him, which he needs to be. Yeah. He's their number one center. He's got to be good for him. But I just think in the end, I think Dallas is going to grind this series out and take it in 6.
All right. Well, there you go. There's all our picks that I think I hit.
We covered them all. Yeah.
I think I picked Calgary. We'll see how it all goes. But now we got to get to the thing that, Scott, you opened the curtain about 4 or 5 times there and we closed it right away. And that is the lottery that we're doing here tonight, the drawing for the number 1 overall pick. And you guys, we were just talking about this before the show started and trying to figure out some of the teams might not actually be. Well, how do I want to say this? Like, be in such a good position with that pick.
Let's put it this way: what we were talking about was each of the 8 teams has a 12.5% chance to win it.
Yeah.
there are a couple teams out there that could actually greatly benefit from trading this pick if they win it.
Yeah. And I guess we should go through and just say, I'm sure everybody already knows this, but the Jets, Panthers, Wild, Predators, Leafs, Rangers, Penguins, and Oilers all get they're all represented tonight. They get one ball, 12-point.
Are they going to show us the lottery machine?
Yes, they said that.
Are they going to put
it's going to be
the
out
logos
there
on the balls like they used to?
Benton is going to actually have to, okay, here it is.
How long are they going to let the machine run? I want to know that.
I want to see each of the balls go in there.
I've watched Yolanda Vega and the New York Lotto enough times. Sometimes they start those balls, and one goes right up in there immediately. And if you don't let the machine keep running, that's the one.
Yeah.
And,
I just know it's going to be Pittsburgh.
I want a mini cam. Hey, listen, I want a mini cam inside that machine too, because all of a sudden, if I see all these balls that got New York Ranger logos on them, what's going on here?
Wait a second. Blue line cameras, lined it all the way around. I want to see this in bullet time.
That'd be funny. Every single ball in there says Penguins.
360 degrees. Yeah, exactly.
It's all a picture of Sidney Crosby.
Yeah. Just says 87 everywhere, 97.
So what are we saying? You said who would not benefit from getting this?
For starters, Toronto.
Yeah.
We touched on that earlier. Toronto is so up against the cap. I took the liberty of going to capfriendly.com, which I absolutely love that site.
It's nice.
It's awesome. Anything you need to know is there.
Yep.
So if you're out there, if you want to know anything about signings, salaries, whatever, go to www.capfriendly.com. So anyways, going into next season for 2021, Toronto's cap hit is already at $76.9 million. We got an $81.5 million cap, folks.
Oh.
It's going to stay that way a while.
It's going to stay that way for this year and for next year. So notable free agents are going to have to re-sign. Kyle Clifford, who they traded for from the Kings. They gave up 2 third-round picks. Tyson Barrie and Cody Ceci. Mm-hmm. So there goes a third of your of your 6 defensemen, right? Could they trade one of these contracts to maybe make some room? Because remember, whoever wins Lafreniere tonight is going to be able to sign him to a 3-year entry-level contract, and most they're going to have to pay him is $925,000 a year. So that's a great luxury. Toronto, after re-signing these guys, isn't even going to be able to afford that. So what I did was I kind of looked at it and I'm like, okay, does anybody have any tradable contracts that maybe they can get anything for? And the only one that really jumps out is William Nylander. Because Toronto, I know they got shut out in their last game against Columbus. They really don't need any more help up front.
No.
He's going to be basically replaced by Lafreniere anyway, right? Nylander doesn't have any no-move he has no-move clauses, no nothing. Young player, great player. He's making $7 million a year now for the next 3-4 years. They could get a boatload of draft picks back for him. They probably should try to get a defenseman back too, to accommodate a little bit in that cap hit. But the one thing you got to look out for with Toronto too. Now this is how much of a mess Toronto is right now. Okay, it's not just this season. The following season, after 21-22, Morgan Riley hits unrestricted free agency. He's going to be 28 years old, and he's only making $5 million a year. Tell me he's not going to want to get paid.
Right.
Absolutely is.
Because you watch what's going to happen, right? Next season, Morgan Riley is going to be a Norris Trophy contender. He's going into his walk year. He's going to pull a John Carlson. He's going to be out of control, crazy, right? So Toronto might actually be either better off trying to trade Nylander, or they could trade that number 1 pick and restock their system.
There's a third scenario you're missing out on, Scott.
What's that?
So I saw it from a Leafs fan online. It said, now for everything to be complete, the Leafs get the number 1 pick tonight, and Lafreniere refuses to sign with the team.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. That is hilarious.
That's what the Leafs fans are expecting, apparently. They're like, he's going to pull Lindros.
So another one I was looking at, your boys, the Penguins.
Yeah.
Now, going into next season, their cap hits at $68.3 million. All right? They're not too bad in the free agency department. So they got Connor Sheary they got to re-sign, which shouldn't cost much. You're going to want to re-sign Jared McCann. He was a key piece in their bottom 6. Sam Lafferty, another one that they really liked. You're going to have to re-sign him. Justin Schultz.
Let him walk.
Let him walk. Okay. Well, who are you going to replace him with?
Not Lafreniere.
And you got
Jack Johnson's little brother.
Yeah. And you got both Matt Murray and Tristan Jarry hitting free agency. They're both restricted, so you're not going to have to completely break the bank. But don't forget, Matt Murray made $3 million last season. He's probably going to want to raise. Tristan Jarry's certainly going to want to raise.
Yeah.
All right, so
If Matt Murray takes them to arbitration,
no way.
He's like, I'm a two-time Stanley Cup champion goaltender.
If I was Murray, I'd want out of there.
What do the other
anyways.
two-time Cup champion goaltenders in the league make?
Listen, if I was Murray, I'd want out of there. Half the time that he's been playing for us, I heard somebody else say this, everybody's hated on him because of what happened with Fleury. And the rest of the time, everybody's been saying, no, it should be Jarry. If I'm Matt Murray, I'm like, I'm leaving. I'm the hell out of here. You can take all your complaints, and I'm going anywhere else.
So here's a scenario you might want to think about. Brian Rust is hitting unrestricted free agency after 21-22. He's only making $3.5 million a year now. Mm-hmm. He's going to want to get paid. You do have a contract that you could trade him, Patrick Hornquist. Forget about Malkin for right now. It's going to be almost impossible to move that, right? Yep. Hornquist you could trade. He's got 3 seasons left at $5.3 million. He is 33 years old, so you're going to have to throw a sweetener in there. Could that possibly be part of the Lafreniere package? Because what they could do is if they wanted to trade that Lafreniere pick and get some actual defensive help in there, they got a little bit of cap wiggle room to work with, especially if you move the Hornquist contract on top of it.
And Hornquist is like the only grit we have on that team, basically.
Scott, are you saying it'd be hard to move a player that hasn't played a full season since 2007, 2008?
I know it perished the thought, right? But
I mean,
yeah.
If I were any GM in the league, I'd be jumping all over a guy that can't play more than 60 games in a season.
I'm glad Glenn Sather's not managing.
And I'm going to go one more.
He'd be all over picking up Gino. Are you kidding me?
He'd be like, wait, how old is he? 35? Could we get him at 39?
Wait.
Can we sign him till he's 46?
I want to go one
And who's
more.
your other one here?
It's the Rangers.
Well, the Rangers don't, and that's the thing I was thinking too. The Rangers don't need a forward.
Well, they don't need any more wingers.
No,
regardless of what happened in that Carolina series, they don't need any more wingers. Now,
Who are their wingers?
Hear me out for a second. So we already discussed this. $68 million is their cap hit next season. You'd like to keep Fost, right?
We're not keeping Fost.
But you'd like to.
They've already said they're not.
Well, right, because of aforementioned. You still got Strome you got to sign. You got
Because you can't take one hit from Brady Shea without dislocating everything.
They loved him, though.
Dislocating everything.
Coaching staff loves him. He's one of those grit players. They love him. All right, so another thing you guys got to start looking out for. Mika Zibanejad, your hero, right? After the 21-22 season, he hits unrestricted free agency at 29 years old, only making $5.5 million a year. He keeps putting up the kind of numbers he is. You don't think that guy's not going to want Panarin money? You don't think? I would say so. I would definitely say so. And now where the Rangers are lacking,
Chris Kreider would talk to him and be like, I took a cut to stay here.
Yeah.
You take a cut to stay here.
Yeah, and if I were Zibanejad going into my 29-year-old year, yeah, okay. Well, guess what? I'm not. You know? So, and the one thing that the Rangers really, truly need is centers. Mm-hmm. They need help down the middle. I mean, is Ryan Strome legitimately a second-line center?
They moved him to the wing during Carolina.
That's what I mean. Philip Cheadle, he's not a legit second-line center. If they're going to, I mean, they got.
I disagree with you on Philip Cheadle. I think you're way off on Philip Cheadle.
Well,
I don't think you watch enough Ranger games to see how talented that kid is. That kid's just turned 21.
Yeah.
I mean, did he even turn 21? I think he's 20. So, I mean, he's young yet.
Well, the Ranger
it's
games
a lot to be saying he can't be this.
The Ranger games I've watched, that kid's lost in the defensive zone. Has no idea what he's doing down there. All right. I mean, maybe he'll have room to grow and all that. That's fine.
He had a much better year. I understand what you're saying.
You want to go on a deep run with him as your second-line center?
I'm saying you can't say right now that kid's not a second-line center because we don't know that yet.
But what I'm saying is you don't need any more help on the wing. So where it might behoove the Rangers, if they win this, make a trade with a team like L.A., who has the number 2 pick, is very deep in center, and can throw a center
Kopitar?
in. You can't afford him.
Exactly.
You can't afford him. But the Kings have a ton of prospects at center.
We don't want Jeff Carter. Okay.
You're not getting. We don't want Jeff Carter either. Not anymore. We don't want him. But But no, that's a scenario you can think about.
I don't think it's as dire for the Rangers as you're making it out to be.
It looked pretty dire against Carolina.
No, I mean they're cap situations. I think that this will be okay. I was looking at their contracts. They are going to let a bunch of guys go after this. Okay, I've also been looking at other Rangers teams, because I've been hearing a lot of stuff about Hank. Is he a Hall of Famer? All this crap. By the way, 6th winningest goaltender of all time is a Hall of Famer. If anybody out there has a question, right behind Fleury, actually, right now.
Well, nobody said he wasn't going to the Hall of Fame.
No, there's people online. Trust me.
He's going
in
to
my
the Hall of Fame without a
groups
cup.
That are like, he never won a cup. He doesn't get the Hall. It's like, what are you, crazy? So.
Oh, that logic.
I've been looking at teams that he played for. Years that Lundqvist did great, and what was the Rangers roster? You know what I mean? Ryan Holloweg, Jed Ortmeyer.
Yeah, but there were also years they won the President's Trophy and flopped.
I wouldn't call it a flop. They ran into the Cup champions, the Pittsburgh Penguins, which isn't nothing.
15?
So.
No, 15, the Blackhawks won. That was the year the Rangers won the President's Trophy.
In 2014-15?
It was after they went to the finals against the Kings.
And they lost to the conference finals to the Lightning. I wouldn't call that a flop.
I would if you win the President's Trophy.
I love this dynamic.
This is great.
Flop is the Lightning winning the President's Trophy and getting swept by Columbus in the first round. That's a flop.
That is a flop.
Getting 2 rounds, playing 14 games of playoff hockey before you play another 7 against the Lightning.
I would just say, there's no doubt Lundqvist is going to the Hall of Fame, but he's missing something on his fingers.
So real quick, so who benefits the most from this?
Who benefits the most?
Yeah.
You know who could actually really use him? Nashville.
Yeah.
Nashville could use him. You know what? Because, all right, so you got Johansson and you got Duchesne. Mm-hmm. Philip Forsberg, by the way, in this little research I did, Philip Forsberg could very well walk after next season. He hits free agency, too.
Yeah.
So if you can get somebody who can actually maybe get a little bit more out of Johansson, out of Duchesne, and out of basically a free number 1 pick, I mean, they were in the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
I think actually Nashville is the one who's going to benefit the most. To be perfectly honest with you.
Do you like this system? You don't like this system, right?
I don't like the way they did it, just because there's a reason that 7 teams didn't make this 24-team field. Mm-hmm. They were terrible. Okay, so you got a bona fide number 1 superstar coming out of. I mean, he's not a franchise-altering player, but he's really, really going to help somebody.
Yeah.
To me, it's just not fair that a team can have their cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
You get a shot at being in the playoffs, and you get a shot at the number 1 pick. That's not fair. I'm sorry. I understand why they did the 24-team field. Absolutely agree with it. Because you had to cut the regular season short, and there's no way to absolutely predict whether the team on the bubble would have made it or wouldn't have. I get that. Fine. But you got your chance to be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have a chance at the top prize as well.
Right. A team that's borderline a playoff team already shouldn't get a chance at getting the number 1 pick.
Exactly.
I agree with that.
That should have been the bottom 7 that didn't make it. It had been like their consolation anyway, or
absolutely.
Whatever.
You and I were talking on the phone, and I said I absolutely hate this system.
Yep.
And I'll be the first to admit that I don't think the Penguins should have their name in that conversation. Yeah. I don't at all. I mean, I get it. Even Crosby was saying today, he said the window is definitely closing. Yeah, but you know what? You've been on a playoff run for years.
Right.
Yeah. For years.
Right.
And probably in like the next 3 years, they're going to have to really, really reload their.
Here's what I think the big problem with it was. Mm-hmm. Not to say that I think any team did this, but the opportunity was right there. And that is, we always talk about tanking for the first thing. That's why they have the lottery, right? So that you can't tank and get the number. It's not a guarantee. Sorry, Detroit. It's not a guarantee you're getting that first pick, or sorry, LA, or whatever.
Yeah.
And this way, because they knew, I don't know if maybe it was when they did the lottery to begin with. Maybe they should have did it after the qualifier round or something.
I see what you're saying,
because the teams that all played in the round robin knew if they lost, they might get this first round pick. You could almost say a team, that didn't really care about this cup. I don't know what forever reason. I don't think any hockey players really think this way.
No.
But I'm saying the opportunity was there for somebody to be like, listen, Rangers, like that would have really been the perfect scenario, because it's like, listen, guys, we're probably not winning the cup over all these other teams. We got crushed by Philly this year. Like, you know, so let's just take it easy, play good games, try to do good, put on a good show. But if we lose, and we'll get that first round pick.
And in that instance, it's like right now, worst case scenario for the Rangers is they get 11th pick out of this.
12th?
No, it's 11th now.
Actually,
there was an article came out. It's
if
11th.
Pittsburgh gets the first.
That's
we get
right.
pushed back. So if Minnesota or Winnipeg wins the first pick, the Rangers pick 10.
They just put it out this morning. So forget number one picks. So other than number one, Winnipeg can do 9 or 10. The Rangers are 10 or 11.
Yep.
Nashville's 11 or 12. Florida's 12 or 13. Toronto's 13 or 14. Edmonton's 14 or 15. And Pittsburgh gets number 1 or number 15. There's no other scenario.
And really, in this draft, the top 15 of this draft they're all solid players. There's really no loser in this. I mean, even if you don't get Lafreniere, you're still getting an excellent player.
Pittsburgh's going to have a decision to make, because if they end up at 15, which I hope they do, that pick either goes to Minnesota and they hang on to next year's first-round pick, or if they take this one, regardless of what happens next year, their first-round pick goes to Minnesota in that Zucker deal.
You know, I was thinking about that, what you just said, like a team. I would never want to see them tank it either, the old suck for luck kind of deal.
Yeah.
But at the same time, imagine like a team like Edmonton sitting there and being like, you know what? We're already home. We're already home. All we really have to do is just leave the bubble, and we can just kind of walk home, and we're here, and what's the worst we get? Maybe we get a chance at the number one. That's a weird scenario, man. They probably should have done it that way. After this round.
Yeah, like if all of it, even the first 8, and just said like, okay, we're going to do the lottery just like normal, but we'll do it after the qualifier round.
Yeah.
So that, and then we'll already know what people are at, and we don't have to play this weird odds game that they played for the first round, and they can just do it like normal.
You know who you can thank for all of this? The NFL. Because that virtual draft went off so well that the NHL was like, we got to do something.
You know what?
We got to do something. Wait a minute. We're missing.
I don't give credit to the NFL, because I love the NFL. I hate watching that crap. I don't think it's interesting.
Oh, the virtual draft?
All.
I didn't like it either.
Like
any draft.
I don't like college football.
Yeah.
All right. It's not a thing of mine. So I don't care about the NFL Combine. I don't care about the NFL draft at all. But a lot of people love NFL way too much. Yeah. Like, they don't like any other sport, and they will watch NFL every single day, no matter if it's May or whatever. They're watching NFL Network every day.
Yeah, totally, Erica.
And, I'm not saying there's anything particularly wrong with it, but I don't think any draft is primetime television.
No.
And I think that went off because it was COVID.
There was nothing else going on.
Sports
That's what I mean.
And people were just like, NFL what?
Something, anything.
Let me see it. Maybe they'll show me a highlight. Like, you know what I mean? Like, whereas I was on ESPN Plus watching hockey games from all year. So.
Well, anyways, we got to get out of here. We already went over our time, so we got a whole bunch more stuff to talk about next week. All new games. It's going to be great. It's going to be lovely, right?
I'll watch the replay.
I think that's it. So anything else before we depart here?
No, 6 o'clock.
Yep.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock NBCSN. We'll get to watch the lottery and see
maybe
all the
by
balls.
I'm thinking
watch that Oilers come to the top.
It would be
again,
great. Wouldn't it be great though if they had Yolanda Vega for that? That would be awesome.
What's that?
If they had Yolanda Vega for that.
You know what I think?
That'd be great.
I think they need to pump in the booze again.
Yeah,
Edmonton comes out. Boo!
Just when Batman comes walking out alone. Boo!
Did you see they're actually going to have booze for when he brings out the cup?
Really?
They're
Come
talking
on.
about it.
Yes.
No, I saw it. I read a whole article about it.
Yes.
Bettman is so used to that, and they have the booze that they might do it for when he brings the cup out. And have
You won't know what to do without him.
Exactly. That's his point. Yeah. Which I think is awesome that Gary's like a good sport.
Yeah, he
about
plays
it.
with it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's great, man. It's great. So, all right, let's get on out of here. So, for Mazat, for Yoshi, and for Scott, I'm Rich Masucci. We'll talk to you next time. Enjoy the games. See ya.
Later.
See ya.